Hello and what is up guys, my name is Yugioh from SCREENCASTERS and I'm coming to you now with a Dark Magician deck profile. It's a pretty fun deck that I have not actually debuted on the channel yet, so I thought now after Dark Illusions came out, now would be a very good time to try it out. So I have done some duels with this deck which we'll go through right now, so without further ado, let's get started. So this first duel is going to be against Tenma and her Royalty Divinity deck, I think. It's a bunch of rituals and synchro stuff put together. It's actually really fun to play against, and she makes a pretty big board first turn. She goes into Crystal Wing and Herald, which is 2 negates in 1 turn, which is very, very good. Crystal Wing to stop monster effects and Herald to negate everything once. So I have a pretty lopsided hand, and this is a hand you're going to be opening up with a lot of magicians, which is basically a lot of spells and one of your traps and very few monsters. So I run over to Herald and then I do my plays. I decided not to activate Trick Clown's effect because of Crystal Wing and stuff. So I special summon my Dark Magician and banish it, and I don't know why she didn't set another card to activate her Ultimaya, but whatever she did, she decided to do a duality and a little bit passive now. So I just heavy storm it, go into Norden, and bring back my Trick Clown, and I think, yeah, I go into Giant Hand, and I use my normal summon for Rod, and just run over everything, and I'm a pretty commanding position. The one thing I love about Dark Magicians is that they keep advantage very easily, because everything is still face up on the field. I use Illusion Magic to get my Rod engraved, so I can use it in conjunction with my Circle to banish something. Well, I'll use it after I banish something. Basically, I would keep reusing and abusing Rod to the best of his potential, so I basically Fiendish Chain, quote unquote, his Trishula, and Clown comes back. And yeah, basically what I do most in this deck is abuse Circle and reusing Rod. If you can get that loop going, as in especially summon Dark Magician every turn, banish something, banish a monster or something like that, reuse Trick Clown, and keep reusing your normal summons for Rod, you're basically gonna win the duel because you're already set up so much advantage really quick, as everything you use stays face up on the field. So eventually I win the duel. So that's it for against Tenma. On for the next one. This next duel is a pretty big one, kinda. It's a big nail biter. It goes right down to the wire. It's basically my Dark Magicians against Dark Lords, which is I never dueled against this deck before. I only know about it from Lithium and his videos. But I decided to play a little bit passive, so I lose a magic, get my Dark Magician stuff back, and basically doing circle shenanigans. One thing I want to do is basically always set up my circle plays and reuse my Rod. If you can actually get that loop started, as in you keep reusing reuse Eternal Soul with Rod and Circle, you're basically gonna win. If I already haven't already stated that. So he does some cute things, and yeah, Eternal Soul does nuke your board, which is a huge thing. But I got my setup for the most part. I'm just waiting for him to do something. So I navigate into my Dark Magician and go into Monk to set myself up for next turn with, I think, Trick Clown and stuff like that. And I'm reusing my Rod to set up even more advantage. And I search for another Illusion Magic because I need more Dark Magicians. You can never have too much. Then go into Emerald, and we actually use his second effect, which is Special Summon Dark Magician from the graveyard. And then he tries to Mind Control me, which he'll change a Dark Lord card. And that's where Navigate really comes in clutch, because it basically works like Hot Red Dragon Archfiend Abyss and DDD Siegfried, where it can negate Regeki or anything. As long as it's face up on the field when it activates, you can negate that, which is very good and very powerful. So basically, I'm still in control of the duel. I have solid advantage over him. I basically keep banishing stuff on his field, keep reusing my resources, and just keeping my loop safe. As long as I still can keep using my Rod and my Circle still on field, I can do stuff. That's why he blew it up, and he runs over my Emerald and my Trick Clown as well, which I think is a good play because, you know, Lightning is a card. And yeah, so I succession into Expand because I didn't know if I had a rank 4 play, but then I opened the Instant Fusion, go into Norden, bring back Trick Clown, and yeah, Utopia Lightning free game. But if I did not have the Lightning, I would have expanded on one of my Dark Magicians, made them gain 1,000, and won over any monster I want. So that's it for the duels. On for the deck profile. So this is my Dark Magician deck profile. It's pretty standard. There are some things I want to point out real quick, which is like the double Trick Clown and the double Monk. Trick Clown is just by far one of the best level 4s for this deck. I was considering Prisma. One of my main inspirations for this deck is actually the Ayatamias build, but I have tried that and it's very, very, very inconsistent. because Timaeus isn't searchable through any of the main methods to get to him, like Rod or Succession, which is very unfortunate. As for level 4 spellcasters, a special summon with Summon Monk's effect, some of the best targets are your Chaco Magician Girl and your Kaiku the Ghost Destroyer. Kaiku really helps in the Monarch matchup because Panditi can't activate in the graveyard, banish to get your search for your tenacities and stuff, and you can't banish for Prime, which is very good. It's just a very good card. Also helps against Blue Eyes for obvious reasons, like the Ancient White Stone, stuff like that. Chaco Magician Girl, I was running her at 2 previously. However, one thing I have found a lot in this deck is that you don't open too many monsters, and a more monster heavy build, I would consider Chaco Magician Girl as well with the DMOC. However, since my build is very low on monsters, which is 14, most of the time you're only opening with 1 or 2 monsters. You'll be lucky if you get 3. Most of the time you'll be opening up with your spells and a few of the traps, and it's just not reliable. If you run a lot more monsters, I can consider Chaco Magician Girl, but for my build as it is right now, I don't really see the need for her. But she's a definitely good side card. Thousand Knives, the only problem I have with this card, according to the card text on Yugioh Pro, it apparently doesn't target. I could be wrong, but I just don't like it. I mean, Blue Eyes has their own Regeki. I'd rather run normal Regeki over Thousand Knives. However, having a searchable Heavy Storm via Eternal Soul is amazing. Only run 1 searchable target with your Eternal Soul, and that's very good because you do a lot of searching in this deck. You do very little drawing, which is very good, so you're very less likely to open with your Dark Magic attack, which is good. And most of the time you're not really doing the search. Most of the time when you're doing the search, if you're not already winning, you're doing it when they target your Eternal Soul and it blows up, so it's just something you can do. Upstart and Allure actually combo very well with your Dark Magic Circle, because you activate it, reveal 3, well, you can look at the top 3, and then add whichever one has a Dark Magician or a spell trap that specifies Dark Magician to your hand, and then you could upstart into it, whichever one you decided to put on the top, or you can allure into both of them. The problem with the allure is, yes, you have a lot of darks, but as I stated before with the Chaco Magician Girl, you don't have too many monsters as it is. And one more thing is that you can't really get back what you banish. If you get in those really tight situations, if you have to banish a Dark Magician for your allure, you're already in a losing scenario, and you're going to lose that duel anyway. I mean, very rarely do those 2 cards actually matter in this build because it's such a combo deck. It's just everything's already searchable. You don't really need draw power, you need a way to not really brick is the biggest issue here. That actually rolls into why I run a lot of 2-ofs. Most Dark Magician deck profiles I've seen run like 3 Illusion Magic or 3 Succession or 3 Duality or blah blah blah. There's a reason I do this at 2. Just like Instant Fusion and most of these 2-ofs, a lot of them are hard ones per turns. You can activate 1 per turn on a lot of these, like Instant Fusion, Illusion Magic. All of them have that little clause at the bottom that says you can only activate 1 per turn. What that means is if you draw into multiples of them, you're going to be dead for 1 extra turn, and you cannot risk that in this type of build. And since they're all searchable, you don't really need to see them, you don't really need to run them at 3, because you don't really want to see them, you don't want to open them, you want to search them with your Dark Magic Circle, or your Magician's Rod, or even your Succession. One more thing about Succession, it's not very good to open with it because it's kind of dead early on, unless you have like your Instant Fusion or Duality or Upstart or stuff like that. But anything that's like a hard once per turn, I'll only play 2 of it. Like Duality, I do not want to open double Duality. If you had a Duality into another one, you're gonna lose. Like, you're not gonna be opening very well in that situation. And one thing I do love about Wonder Wand is Instant Fusion makes this card super good because you instant fuse into your Thousand Eyes Restrict, take one of your opponent's monsters, and then Wonder Wand that restrict away because he's a spellcaster. They lose their monster, and you draw 2 cards. It's just freaking awesome. And one thing I love about Instant Fusion that makes almost all of your spellcaster Pacific cards live. So if you don't have a spellcaster, you don't have your Trick Clown, who comes back by the way for your Illusion Magic to tribute, you can just instant fuse into your restrict and then just tribute that restrict away with Illusion Magic to get your 2 Dark Magicians. Or if you need to resolve your Wonder Wand, Instant Fusion helps with that. Knight End Sorcerer is a very interesting card because the only real way you can special summon this card is through Magician's Navigate, which is very good because when you special summon, it's basically DD Crow on crack, where you get to remove from play up to 2 cards from your opponent's graveyard. And since he's a tuner, a level 2 Dark Spellcaster tuner, mind you, you can tune him up with any of your Dark Magicians to make Azure Eyes, and that's freaking awesome. So Azure Eyes is really good because you can special summon drop magicians from the graveyard each standby phase, your standby phases, and keep triggering off your circle, which is by far the MVP. So yeah, that's the deck profile, guys. It's pretty standard. If you guys have any comp suggestions on how to make this deck better, I'd love to hear it. And yeah, I'm also planning on doing a Blue Eyes deck profile, so please stay tuned for that. I got Yugioh out of the way. Let's go for Kaiba. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Don't forget to drop me a like and comment on this video. I greatly appreciate it. If you guys haven't subscribed yet, please click that subscribe button. I greatly appreciate that too. So yeah, I hope you guys have a nice day. Thank you for watching this video. I greatly appreciate it. And remember, keep on honking, guys, with Screencasters. Have a nice day.